Yes, Madam Chair, all the answers are in the audiovisual presentation, the documents that we submitted to the committee secretariat, the opening statement, and the PowerPoint presentation. I did not say forgo the right, I said forgo the opportunity to defend.
Of 1,792,391. How much is allocated for financial assistance and subsidy?
Vice.
Yes, Madam Chair, I will forgo the opportunity to defend the Office of the Vice President budget proposal of fiscal year 2025 by question and answer. I will leave it to the House of Representatives to decide on the proposal.
Madam Chair, she mentioned about programs of the Office of the Vice President. May I ask the breakdown how much will be spent for those programs as she mentioned in her slide presentation a while ago?
Madam Vice President.
Yes, Madam Chair, I will forgo the opportunity to defend the Office of the Vice President 2025 budget proposal by question and answer, and I will leave it to the House of Representatives to decide on the proposal as it is.
So, Madam Chair, she also mentioned about duplications such as medical assistance and burial assistance undertaken by the Office of the Vice President, as well as of that of the Department of Health, Department of Social Welfare and Development. May I ask the Vice President, in order to streamline the bureaucracy and avoid overlapping functions, what are your thoughts on the possibility of reallocating the funds earmarked for medical assistance and burial assistance to the line agencies like Department of Health and DSWD?
Madam Chair, I will forgo the opportunity to defend the Office of the Vice President 2025 budget proposal by question and answer. I will leave it to the House of Representatives to decide on the proposal as presented.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. That's all my question, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Next to interpolate is the Honorable Mark Go.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Chair, to the Honorable Vice President and the other officials of the Office of the Vice President. My first question is directed to the Department of, or the COA. Is it a common practice, Madam Chair, that after an actual audit is completed, there is an exit conference conducted by the Commission on Audit with the institution that is being audited, Madam Chair?
Madam Vice President.
The question is directed
Ask on Julia.
Madam Chair, it is a regular activity before an audit report would be prepared. There will be an exit conference, but in other, for example, in the case of fraud audit, it is not mandatory to have an exit conference. They could only, if the agency or the auditee wishes to have an exit conference, then the team could grant an exit conference, but it's not automatic. But for regular audit, those under residency audit, they conduct exit conference.
In the case of the Office of the Vice President, in 2022, did you conduct an exit conference with the Office of the Vice President?
I have no personal knowledge, Your Honor, because I'm not the one who supervises the national government agencies.
May I ask the Vice President if they had this exit conference after the audit that was completed? Madam Chair.
Madam Vice President.
Madam Chair, I will forgo the opportunity to defend the Office of the Vice President 2025 budget proposal by question and answer, and we leave it to the House of Representatives to decide on the proposal as presented.
Well, I assume that if there was an exit conference conducted by the Commission on Audit with the Office of the Vice President, what were the initial findings of the audit conference? Or the audit as explained probably in the audit conference?
Madam Vice President.
Madam Chair, I think that question is best asked of the Commission on Audit, not the Office of the Vice President. What were the contents of the audit?
Volgo, what do you wish?
Yeah, I would assume then that there was an exit conference, and the exit conference was not satisfactory to the auditing department. That's why the the confidential fund, as indicated in the audit observation, we can see the findings because the audit or the exit conference was not successful in terms of resolving some of these audit findings of the Commission on Audit, Madam Chair.
Madam Vice
Yes,
President.
Madam Chair, we have received many audit actions from the Commission on Audit, and we have submitted our responses to them and assured the public of our full cooperation with the Commission on Audit.
Madam Chair, we have received a copy of the audit findings on dated August 8, 2024, issued by the Commission Audit, and have you submitted already your response to these findings, Madam Chair?
Madam Vice President.
I'm sorry, could you write the last line?
Yes, could you kindly repeat your question? Not to be included in your time.
May we ask if they've already answered, and if they can tell us the answer that they submitted to the Commission Audit on the findings of the Commission Audit as reported earlier? Madam
Madam Vice
Chair.
President.
Madam Chair, I would not like to assume, but is this about the audit of the confidential funds or the audit of the entire Office of the Vice President?
Both, Madam Chair.
All right. On the issue of confidential funds, we have received audit actions from COA regarding the confidential funds of the Office of the Vice President. We have submitted our responses, and we assure the public of our full cooperation with the ongoing and unfinished audit. With regard to other audit actions, we assure the public that we have submitted our responses, and we are in full cooperation with the Commission on Audit.
Madam Chair, I have another question. You have experience using confidential fund, especially in 2022 and 2023. And in 2024, you don't have any confidential fund, as well as probably in this proposal that you submitted in 2025. If you will make a comparison between having a confidential fund and not having, which of these you will choose if be given the opportunity, Madam Chair?
Madam Vice President.
Yes, on the issue of confidential funds, we have received audit actions from COA regarding the confidential funds of the Office of the Vice President. We have submitted our responses, and we assure the public of our full cooperation with the ongoing and unfinished audit.
Can you not share with us your experience on this, Madam Chair? On not having a confidential fund and having a confidential fund, considering the fact that you have both experience having one and not having one.
Madam Chair, I will forgo the opportunity to defend the Office of the Vice President 2025 budget proposal by question and answer, and I will leave it to the House of Representatives to decide on the proposal as presented.
Okay, I think I will have the same answer with my other questions. So I will now end my interpellation at this point in time. Thank you very much, Madam Chair, Madam Vice President. Thank you.
Salamat. Next to interpolate is the Honorable Francisco Paulo Ortega.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Few short questions lang po. Nakakapanghinayang po na ang dami pong prepared na questions ng mga kasama natin. Ngunit marami pong hindi nabibigyan ng sagot. Una, siguro idedirekta ko po to sa COA na siguro kailangan yung responsiveness ng COA makikita at saka mararamdaman sa mga napaka-importante na issues na ganito. Kasi karamihan po sa atin nanggagaling sa local government. Nanggaling po sa local government. Alam po natin na minsan yung mga ganyang issues sa AOM, sa mga issues ng paglabag, saka hindi po tamang paggamit, nagiging problema po for local officials, even national officials. Parang po minsan kahit na 5 milyon may nasususpending mayor, may perpetual disqualification, may mga ganun po na issues na I think this house, the members of this house were really focusing on those questions kasi nga po nakikita po nila yung importansya ng questions na mga yon, Madam Chair. And makikita naman po natin, sabi nga po ni Kong Mark, my neighbor, na paulit-ulit na rin po yung mga sagot. Sana po baka may mga ibang membro ng opisina ng Office of the Vice President na nakatulong po or nakapagbigay po ng supplemental na sagot or dagdag man lang sana na sagot. Kasi ang dami po nung mga katanungan na parang wala lang, parang hindi na po nasama. Nandiyan naman po siguro yung support staff or may mga kasama po dyan. Sana po na mas nabigyan po ng kabuluhan yung hearing, Madam Chair. Thank you po, Madam Chair.
Okay. Do you care to comment, Madam Vice?
Yes, Madam Chair, the reason why wala dito yung ibang officials ng Office of the Vice President because, and I will say, I will not betray the confidence of some members of the House of Representatives. Meron isa sa mga nagtanong kanina ang nagsabi sa akin na merong script sa pagtatanong about sa confidential funds. That is why I decided na hindi pa atinin yung mga ibang officials ng Office of the Vice President because nakalagay naman doon sa inyong invitation and I quote, kasi yung copy. In this regard, may we respectfully invite the Vice President or her duly authorized representative. So it was in the alternative. So I decided I'll come alone, answer all of it alone. So that kung i-contempt man ninyo ako lang yung papasok doon sa detention at hindi na masali yung ibang tao dito at yung pamilya nila na nag-aantay sa kanila sa mga bahay nila.
Honorable Ortega.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Naiintindihan ko kung saan po nanggagaling yung sagot na yun. Pero, resource persons naman po yung kailangan natin . More on budget hearing issues. Kung ibang issues yan, I doubt if it will come from this budget hearing. At sabi nga po ng mga kasama natin, Madam Chair, tungkol po talaga sa budget naman. Saka yung mga nakaraang nga pong budget ang pinag-uusapan. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, again, the invitation said or in the alternative, Vice President or. So, I am within my right of attending alone.
Yun lang po siguro, Madam Chair. Sayang lang din po yung pagkakataon. this is the perfect time na marinig din tayo ng not only our fellow representatives, pero syempre ng taong bayan din po kung paano po nangyayari yung mga ganitong bagay, paano po napapatakbo, paano po nagagamit. Siguro I'll stick to that as my final few questions, Madam Chair. Maraming salamat po. Thank you, ma'am.
Salamat. Next to interpolate is the Honorable Richard Gomez, who is not around. So we move to the Honorable Rixie Cardama.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening po, VP Sara. Although kami po ay mga kinatawan ng taong bayan na nakakakuha ng libo-libong boto ng Pilipino, kayo po ang most voted national official sa kasaysayan ng bansang ito. Pinakakatawan po ninyo ang kagustuhan ng pinakamaraming milyong-milyong Pilipino at bilang isang mataas na opisyal ng Armed Forces of the Philippines Reserve Force, ano pong masasabi nyo sa mga kaalyado ng NPA na nakapasok sa gobyerno at ginagamit ng pondo ng gobyerno para tumulong sa pagpatay sa ating mga pulis at sundalo at i-recruit ang mga kabataang Pilipino?
Madam Vice President.
Representative Cardama, I thank you for your question. I will forgo the opportunity to defend the Office of the Vice President 2025 budget by question and answer, and I will leave it to the House of Representatives to decide on the proposal as presented.
Maraming salamat po, Vice President, sa inyong paglaban sa leftist groups at sa NPA na pumapatay sa ating mga pulis at sundalo na nambibiktima sa sambayang Pilipino. Yun na po, maraming salamat po, ma'am.
Next to interpolate is the Honorable Mitch Kayonoy.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair, and good evening to our Vice President. Actually, this representation will not interpolate since the responses of the Vice President has been the same. However, I just want to make a manifestation that if possible, if we may request that all the responses and yung mga ano po will not parang out of emotions. Yun lang po kasi when I got here, medyo may mga ano na po may mga nag-iinit na yung mga discussions and everything. So ang hinihiling ko lamang po sana talaga is kasi may ahensya pa na nag-aantay na alam nating importante rin ang Office of the Ombudsman. Kaya po sana yung kanina, kaya po ako ay nagpa-register dahil gusto ko lamang po sana na magbase tayo doon sa talagang mandato para sa atin. Ako po nung nasa isang ahensya, tinitingnan ko po na ang pagtawag ng Kongreso para po umattend ng isang budget hearing, ito po ay ang pinakamataas na form at ito na rin po ang pinakamataas na call ng Kongreso para po sa sabi nga po, pag-scrutinize. Siguro po, alam nating lahat na ito na po yung pinaka-importante at role ng bawat inelect para dito po. Kaya nga po ang Kongreso ay ang may power of the purse dahil nga po ito po yung mandato na binigay po sa atin. However, kung tayo po ay exchange ng ating mga emotions, these are all simply allegations or ito po yung opinion lamang. Pero kung pwede po sana ay sumagot po tayo ng naaayon since ito naman po ay talagang duty natin at ito po ang ibinabalik sa atin ng ating mga bumoto rin po sa atin. So ang pakiusap ko po sana ay wag tingnan na kumbaga parang you're at the other side of the fence. Hindi po tayo rito nagkakaroon ng yung batuhan ng kung ano man. Ang inihingi po natin dito ay konkretong response na ayon po sa ating responsibilidad natin ibigay sa taong bayan kung paano po natin matalinong ginasta ang buwis ng taong bayan. Salamat po.
Salamat. Next is the Honorable Romeo Apple. Is not here, so we move to our Deputy Majority Leader, the Honorable Janet Garin.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and a pleasant good evening to our Honorable Vice President. Yeah, Ma'am, you have actually commendable programs, the Medical Assistance Program, Educational Assistance, Burial Assistance, Magnegosyo Taday, but I believe it's a nationwide coverage. So, may we know how our constituents can apply for this program?
Madam Chair, I will forgo the opportunity to defend the Office of the Vice President 2025 budget proposal by question and answer, and I will leave it to the House of Representatives to decide on the proposal as presented.
So, Madam Chair, if the Honorable Vice President will agree, meron po ba tayong mga areas kung saan pwedeng mag-apply? Let's say, if we are from the Visayas, where can our constituents apply for this kind of program and the possibility of having the requirements to apply for such assistance?
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
will forgo the opportunity to defend the Office of the Vice President 2025 budget proposal by question and answer, and I will leave it to the House of Representatives to decide on the proposal as presented.
Yeah. Madam Chair, for the information of our good Vice President, I'm not objecting to the program. I'm merely asking for the requirements so that if people would like to avail, they would know where to go and how to go about it. So, Madam Chair, my next question is on the educational assistance. Let's say if we have deserving and poor students and they have existing CHED scholarship, can they apply for additional educational assistance in such program?
Madam Chair, I will forgo the opportunity to defend the Office of the Vice President 2025 budget by question and answer, and I will leave it to the House of Representatives to decide on the proposal as presented.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Vice President. Madam Chair, on the Kalusugan Food Truck Pansarap, does this also cover parts of the Visayas or is it only limited to NCR?
President.
Yes, ma'am. I will forgo the opportunity to defend the Office of the Vice President 2025 by question and answer, and I will leave it to the House of Representatives to decide on the proposal as presented.
So, Madam Chair, my next question is on the Magnegosyo Taday, which is livelihood is actually part of economic upliftment. Are there parameters by where MSMEs can apply for this?
Madam Vice President.
Madam Chair, I will forgo the opportunity to defend the Office of the Vice President 2025 budget proposal by question and answer, and I will leave it to the House of Representatives to decide the proposal as presented.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. Madam Chair, in the government website, it says, as the second highest public office in the land, the Office of the Vice President shall work for the welfare of the Filipino people and contribute to nation building, economic development, and political stability by fostering fidelity to the Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines and upholding the highest office, and that is the office of the President. May we hear the wisdom of the Vice President on this matter.
Madam Chair, I will forgo the opportunity to defend the Office of the Vice President 2025 budget proposal by question and answer, and I will leave it to the House of Representatives to decide on the proposal as presented.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On the rice food bags, considering that Iloilo and Western Visayas is a rice-producing province, can our farmers contribute to this rice program so that they will have an adequate market with the adequate price?
Madam Vice President.
Yes. Madam Chair, I will forgo the opportunity to defend the Office of the Vice President 2025 budget proposal by question and answer, and I will leave it to the House of Representatives to decide on the proposal as presented.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. Madam Chair, the DPM in its proposed budget mentions that the mission of the Office of the Vice President is to promote economic development, political stability, and fostering fidelity to the Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines and upholding the highest standard of professionalism in the civil service. It further says that in the sector outcome, promote political and socio-economic development consistent with state policies and government priorities and thrusts. My question, Madam Chair, is the Honorable Vice President amenable to this, or do we need to amend portions of this?
Madam Vice President.
Madam Chair, I will forgo the opportunity to defend the Office of the Vice President 2025 budget proposal by question and answer, and I will leave it to the House of Representatives to decide on the proposal as presented.
So, Madam Chair, I do respect the contention of the Vice President. My last question is to the Honorable Chair. Yeah, as it was mentioned earlier, Madam Chair, I am not sure, but can you appraise us in the history of the Congress of the Philippines during budget briefings and deliberations? Has the Committee on Appropriations ever detained any resource person?
Never.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Maraming salamat po, kang Vice President. Thank you very much.
Salamat. Next to interpolate is the Honorable Vice Chair Claudio Bautista. Finish first round first. So next is the Honorable Geraldine Roman.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Magandang gabi po sa ating lahat. Magandang gabi po sa ating Vice President. I just want to express a little bit of my disappointment and frustration kasi I really wanted to be enlightened regarding specific programs, in particular those very, very creative programs, which is actually my favorite, yung Magnegosyo Taday, no? Which will benefit a lot of women, which is part of my advocacies, as well as the LGBT community. But I guess our Honorable Vice President will just give me the same answer. So let me just manifest my disappointment. Parang pumasok po ako sa meeting na to na may katanungan pero lalabas po ako na ng kasagutan and even more questions. I feel compelled to express my deep sense of regret over the way our discussions have unfolded today. Sayang ang pagkakataon. This hearing was supposed to be a crucial forum for us to ensure that the public funds are allocated wisely and effectively. No? However, instead of gaining clarity and insights needed to make informed decisions, we find ourselves caught in a cycle of verbal disputes and personal attacks. And I'm just pointing at one side only, maybe both sides, possibly, and also formula answers, scripted answers, and even insinuations that we are following a script. Napakadali lang naman pong sumagot. Bakit kinakailangan pa natin hold us in doubt and keep us in the dark? So, given the lack of substantive answers provided us, I am left with concerns on how we, as members of the Congress, can make an informed decision regarding the budget of the Office of the Vice President and how we can follow our mandate if there is an apparent lack of cooperation. Because to say that there is an answer, which is not really an answer because it does not shed light, it does not give clarity It does not address the specific concerns. We may question, in fact, certain issues of whether it is valid to discuss the confidential funds or not. But how about our questions? Katulad ng questions ni Representative Garin. Those are valid questions. I think dapat they merit also an answer. So hindi ko na po pagpapatuloy ang aking pagtatanong eh. Ano naman po ang magiging sagot? Sana po eh, magkaroon tayo ng clarity. That is my sincere wish talaga. Just clarity. Especially dun sa mga budget items ng 2025 na sa una ay willing naman ang Office of Vice President to answer and so graciously. Pilit kong inuunawa, baka naman physically exhausted ng ating resource person. I could hear that your voice is already mamaos. But alam ko malakas naman siyang tao, malakas siyang babae with great resistance. So, nanghinayang po ako sa pagkakataon na ito. With that, Madam Chair, I leave it also to this committee how to figure out how can we come up with an informed decision with this kind of formula answer. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Salamat. Next is the Honorable Jude Asidre.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, good evening, Madam Vice President. I will be asking questions about the 2025 budget. Given the esteemed position of the Office of the Vice President, could the Honorable Vice President kindly enlighten this committee on how the proposed budget reflects the core mandate of the Office of the Vice President? We are sincerely eager to understand how these resources will be used to fulfill the critical responsibilities, particularly the constitutional mandate of the Vice President. Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, I will forgo the opportunity to defend the Office of the Vice President 2025 by question and answer. I will leave it to the House of Representatives to decide on the proposal as presented. You can find all the answers in the audiovisual presentation, in our submission of documents to the Secretariat, in the PowerPoint presentation, and in the opening statement. I will leave it to the House to decide on the proposal.
Madam Chair, with the significant budget being requested by the Office of the Vice President, this committee is, I believe, keen to hear about the tangible successes by the OVP's programs thus far. Will this budget ensure that such commendable progress continues? I'm referring to the budget requested for 2025.
Madam Chair, I will forgo the opportunity to defend the Office of the Vice President 2025 budget by question and answer, and I will leave it to the House of Representatives to decide on the proposal as presented.
Madam Chair, I believe we are all familiar with the constitutional mandate of the Vice President, and that's why we'd want to know if the Honorable Vice President could clarify how the proposed budget allocation and the programs that it supports are aligned with this constitutional mandate of the Vice President. Because we're confident that the budget is a perfect reflection of the Vice President's priorities and the office's essential duties.
Madam Vice President.
Yes, Madam Chair, the answers are in the AVP presentation, the opening statement, the documents that we submitted to the Secretariat, and the PowerPoint presentation. I will forgo the opportunity to defend the Office of the Vice President 2025 budget proposal by question and answer, and I will leave it to the House of Representatives to decide on the proposal as presented.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, in the spirit of collaboration, could the Vice President also share how the OVP works with other agencies to avoid duplication and ensure the efficient use of public funds? We trust that the budget is also a reflection of such strategic coordination.
Vice President.
Madam Chair, I will forgo the opportunity to defend the Office of the Vice President 2025 budget proposal by question and answer, and I will leave it to the House of Representatives to decide on the proposal as presented.
Madam Chair, considering the careful thought that must have gone into crafting the budget of the OVP, would the Vice President explain the rationale behind specific allocations? We are particularly interested in how these figures, especially the amounts, were arrived at, considering that the Vice President has a national mandate, and how it was computed so as to translate into meaningful outcomes for the public. Madam Chair.
Madam Vice President.
Yes, Madam Chair, I will forgo the opportunity to defend the Office of the Vice President 2025 budget proposal by question and answer, and I will leave it to the House of Representatives to decide on the proposal as presented.
Madam Chair, the Honorable Vice President has repeatedly mentioned that she will forgo the right to personally defend the budget through a question and answer format. How should this committee interpret such a decision? Would it be fair to conclude, Madam Chair, that the programs under the OVP may not be as high a priority or as important as we had hoped for? Or should we interpret the response and the demeanor of the Vice President indicates that we, the elected representatives of the people, and the people that we represent do not deserve an explanation on how public funds would be spent by their office, Madam Chair?
Madam Vice President.
Yes, Madam Chair, all the answers are in the audiovisual presentation, the documents that we submitted to the committee secretariat, the opening statement, and the PowerPoint presentation. I did not say forgo the right, I said forgo the opportunity to defend.
Thank you, Madam Vice President, because I think it's not our right to explain our budget. It's our duty to explain our budget. That's all, Madam Chair. And I would have to say, I leave it to the committee to consider the responses of our Honorable Vice President in the approval of the budget.
Salamat. Before we move to round 2, just a short manifestation on my part with a kind indulgence of my colleagues. Kanina po nabanggit ang pangalan ko kasama ni Kong Franz nung meron pong nagtanong kung bakit may 125 million para sa fourth quarter taong 2023 na hindi po ginamit ng ating pangalawang Pangulo. Nabanggit ang pangalan ko. I believe ang sinabi po ni Madam Vice President is that tila may lumalabas na po na pattern simula nung araw na nagsagutan po kami sa plenaryo na lumabas po na 11 days lamang ang period na kung saan ginamit po ang pondo amounting to 125 million. I just want to state for the record that that was in no way planned action on my part. That was the most difficult moment in my 5 years in Congress. Tinanong ako ng isang tanong, I just had to say the truth. Nakabase sa liquidation report at kitang-kita nyo naman doon po sa nakakita na po ng notice of disallowance na ginamit po siya from December 21 to 31 at pagbilangin po natin ang mga araw na yan mula 21 hanggang 31 ay indeed 11 days. So yun lang po, I just want to state that on record that on my part, simula nung moment na yon ay naging napakahirap ng buhay ko. No rational human being would ever want to plan her life that way. So there's absolutely no way that can be planned on my part, just for the record.